right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm so happy to be here with you today. It's a beautiful Thursday morning here in the Bay Area. And today we're going to be talking about and answering the question, am I on a pathway to citizenship or not? All right, like, am I on a pathway to citizenship? Some people are, some people are not. And so let's get clear about that, okay? And so welcome and thanks everyone for being here. Remember that the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. Today, our theme is, am I on a pathway to citizenship? And my question for you is, hey, do you want to become a citizen this year? Do you want to get a green card this year? Do you want to at least apply for something? Do you want to at least know what options you have to change your immigration situation this year? Because if so, hey, I'd love to help you with that. All right? Time's a ticking. The year's almost halfway done. And it's like, hey, I'd love to help you in any way I can to allow you to improve your immigration situation. My firm is on a mission to win 10,000 cases in the next 10 years. We'd love for your case to be one of them. And so, if we can help you in any way, please just let us know, okay? As I'm talking about the topic, as always, if you have a question, submit your question. I'll do my best to answer it right here, right now, live. That's part of it. And so thank you and welcome everyone, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name's Otis Landerholm, and I'm happy to be here today at another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. All right? So now we'll get into the topic. Did you know that some people are here lawfully but can never become citizens? Right? Isn't that messed up? It seems kind of, some people are here lawfully, maybe have been here for 30 years lawfully. We have a case we're working on right now where our client has been here lawfully for 30 years and she can't become a citizen. Isn't that crazy? It's like, let's divide humanity so that some people can become citizens and other people can't. For me, that's messed up. All right? Other people have a clear pathway towards citizenship. Some of those cases towards citizenship will take decades. Others are on a fast track. 3 years with a green card. If you're living in marital union with a U.S. citizen, boom, you can apply for citizenship. Okay? And then thousands of other people simply are not on a pathway to become a citizen. Maybe there's a way to change that. Maybe there isn't. Okay? I said thousands. The answer actually is millions of people are not, don't have a way to become a citizen under current immigration laws. All right? So who are the people that have lawful status but that are not on a pathway to citizenship? Who am I talking about? Well, for example, did you know that when you apply for asylum, all right, when you apply for asylum, which means protection in the U.S., you're also simultaneously applying for two other laws, all right? Asylum, but two others, withholding of removal, and also sometimes for protection under the Convention Against Torture. Well, so the way it works is, if you win asylum, great, you're on a pathway to citizenship. But if you lose asylum, all right, but win one of those other things, withholding of removal or relief under CAT, under the Convention Against Torture, then you've won some kind of protection, but it is not a pathway to citizenship. Asylum is, those other things are not, okay? And if you're confused about that, hey, there's immigration lawyers out there that are confused about it. But if you really are confused about it and want clarity, feel free to give our office a call. Our office is good at these types of issues, okay? We'd love to help you explore your situation and see how we can help you fix it. Okay? All right. So who else is in sort of a similar situation, kind of a limbo status? Well, if you have TPS, temporary protected status, that's kind of a similar situation, right? Because TPS does not give you a way to apply directly for a green card. And because of that, there's no pathway from TPS to US citizenship. And so even if a person is here on TPS legally for decades, right? And they're just always waiting to see if their TPS is going to be renewed or not, that person has no way to apply for a green card and apply for US citizenship. They're not on a pathway to citizenship. What's another situation? DACA, all right, the 800,000 people that are on DACA, many of whom are my clients, one of whom I was meeting with yesterday. There's a similar situation. There's no actual status when you have DACA, all right? It's a deferred action status. It's not really an immigration status. And so because of that, unless you find another pathway, unless you get married to a U.S. citizen, or unless there's some other option that you can take advantage of, then you're not on a pathway to become a citizen. All right? There are other kinds of deferred action, and there are other kinds of similar situations. All right? Military deferred action, deferral of deportation. You may have heard of these I can't call them statuses because they're not, but these situations. You might have a work permit through these things, even through an order of supervision or through a parole type status, but there's no direct pathway to citizenship. You've got to apply for something else in order to get on to a pathway of citizenship. All the parole statuses are like that, okay? And then many of the temporary visas are in a similar boat, right? You can't, a temporary visa, you're here lawfully, but you're not on a pathway to become a citizen unless you can apply for something else. All right? So then that raises the question, lawyer, hey, what statuses do come with a pathway to citizenship? All right? And the answer to that is basically anything that allows you to become a green card holder. All right? When you naturalize, you've got to have a green card first. Okay? And so to become a citizen through naturalization, you've got to have a green card first. And so what are the types of statuses that allow you to become a green card holder? Well, if you're applying for adjustment of status, that is the application for a green card. But that comes in many forms, right? That could be a family-based case. That could be a VAWA-based case. That could be a cancellation of removal case in immigration court, all right? Other ways that you could get into that, like set yourself up to eventually apply for adjustment, is through the asylum process. If you win asylum, you can apply for adjustment of status. U visas, T visas are also categories that if you win those visa statuses, they come with the opportunity to apply for adjustment of status and eventually citizenship. Okay? That's basically it. That's basically it. All right? So lawyer, I get this question, right? So lawyer, is it possible to change from one path and put me on another path? Is it possible to change from one path and put me on a pathway so I can become a citizen? Is it possible? Answer, sometimes yes. All right? Sometimes this can be possible. Sometimes we have to file asylum or a U visa or get married to a U.S. citizen or some other thing needs to change. Sometimes we have to get fancy and do a motion to reopen first. All right? I was reviewing a complex motion to reopen just this morning for one of our cases. Okay? So it's like, yes, it can be possible. You've got to explore the strategy first to see if it's possible. Okay, so lawyer, how do we do that? How do we do that? Well, often we start, well, not often, always, we start with a consultation. All right, we figure out what is your current status, what is the status you want to be in, and how can we get you there? That's basically what immigration lawyers do. All right? And so it's like often to figure that out, we want to request and review the records. We want to request and review, sometimes we need to run FOIAs, Freedom of Information Act requests, to get all the records first, review them carefully, and then we can give you the advice that you're looking for. Right? The advice as to what's your current status, what status could you obtain potentially through motions to reopen or through something else that may have happened, and we help to assess and advise about whether or not there's a better way. Okay? That's really what immigration lawyers are here to do. So, so that's it. You know, that's basically my talk today. Thank you so much. If you have a question, please ask me your question. I'd love to answer them. Test Bond 007. I see you here. Thank you. Let's see here. Your question. Good morning. Is it possible to file for a reentry permit and leave? And if the reentry permit has a problem, just come back to the USA within 4 to 5 months. Well, don't file for the reentry permit and wait for it. And once the reentry permit is approved, now you leave so that you don't, you don't want to screw yourself over. Like, I mean, I love your question. But sincerely, it's like, don't leave the country without a way to re-enter unless you're okay taking that risk. That's a bad idea. No responsible immigration lawyer is going to say, "Oh, just file for the reentry permit and leave." No, file for the reentry permit and win it. And then after you have it in your hand, now you can confidently leave the U.S. and re-enter. Okay? That's my best advice. Please don't, anyway, don't put your status at jeopardy. Okay? I know that there might be personal situation where it's an emergency, things like that. There's ways to apply for emergency travel documents. All right, and you can do that by making a USCIS info pass. Our office could help you with that. We do that. All right, and so sometimes you can get that thing approved on an emergency basis. But if it's not a true emergency, then my best advice is just to hold tight and wait. 3 to 4 to 5 months. It's worth waiting so that you can rest assured that you have a re-entry document. All right, that's my best advice. So cool. So everybody, thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'll conclude with a brief empowerment tip. So my empowerment tip today is to find a way to be generous. All right? I like to tip when we go to restaurants. This is pretty common here in the U.S. When you tip well. All right? When you interact with another person, it's like look them in the eye and give them a compliment. Pay for a random person's beverage at Starbucks or at your coffee store. Give someone a smile even if you don't know them. Right? I go to every Tuesday. We alternate. I take my son one week, and I take my daughter the next week to a particular Starbucks. All right? And when I go, I tip better than average. I smile. I greet the people that are there. And now, I only go there once a week. But now, all the people there know my name. They enjoy interacting with me like it's fun. Doing that is empowering. All right? having a generous spirit, having a spirit where you're giving to others, no matter what your situation. It doesn't need to be financially. You could help somebody with something, you know. You could give them at least a smile and give them some attention that they might not otherwise receive. You might notice them, all right? You can bring generosity, you can contribute to others, and when you do that, you empower yourself. All right, for me, it's like something, I don't know, it's a small thing, but I look forward to it. It's fun. My kids like it too, right? It's like I take them and it's like, anyway, it's a fun thing. I wanted to share that today. Hope that's useful. Hope that's helpful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. If you still have a question, you know, please submit it. I can answer that to our channel in YouTube. The best way to see all of our stuff is to go to our channel in YouTube. If you go to YouTube, type in Landerholm Immigration, our channel will pop up, and then hit the subscribe button. When you do that, you can also click the notifications bell, and so you can be notified whenever we have an additional video with updates and news and things of that nature. It's the best way to stay in communication with what's going on within immigration law, because when there's updates, we love creating videos to share what updates are happening. And as always, if you have an immigration case, hey, please give us a call. We are here to help, and we would love to help. All right? That's all I got for today. Thank you all so much for being here. Again, my name's Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. If you speak Spanish, join us in a few minutes. We'll do this same episode in Spanish. And otherwise, thank you all so much for being here, and we will see you next week on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thanks a lot, everybody. Make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.